This video is presented by EA Game Changers. That's presented, not paid. Hey hens, how are we all diddly doing? You ready to get smoggy? My asthma has never felt more represented. My lungs are quaking and I'm finding it surprisingly easy to be wheezy. The Sims team have released a new expansion pack of The Sims 4 Eco Lifestyle, and apparently The Sims are going...
How y'all doing?
Well, Bella's all for it. Apparently The Sims are going through a kind of rebellious phase at the moment because this pack is severely misunderstood by the Sims community and also is going against the consistent branding of living. Island living, tiny living, you'd think eco living, but apparently not. We are here with Eco Lifestyle.
Fucking about with that.
Now, before we get into the review of the pack, I'm going to be helpful. I'm going to provide some constructive criticism and I'm going to give some names which I think this pack should have been called instead, because Eco Lifestyle just isn't doing it for me, honey. Focusing on the more dystopian aspect of the pack, I bring to you The Sims 4 Struggle to Breathe. I've got asthma, so I can make that joke. The Sims 4 Love Dystopia. The Sims 4 Asthmatic Life. Again, I have asthma, so I can make that joke. And now in the more eco lifestyle version of the pack, I bring to you The Sims 4 Middle Class Simulator, The Sims 4 Raising Rent, and The Sims 4 Tory Town. But out of proper respect, I will actually call this pack by its given name, which is The Sims 4 Gentrification Pack. That name is given by none other than myself. You're welcome, because on this channel we call a spade a what, honey? A spade. So if you can't already tell, this whole gentrification narrative which the Sims team is trying so desperately to push is just not up my alley, hen. It's just not speaking to me as a lass from a post-industrial working class town that may potentially already be past its prime. Thanks, Thatcher. So as much as I've enjoyed everybody's concerned reaction to my explanation that the smog-ridden town is actually the better world because it perfectly encapsulates Middlesbrough, my hometown, we do actually need to focus on something that is more than me. So here's my review of the pack. I'm going to be giving you a general overview of the entire thing, and then I'm going to be saying what I do and don't like about the pack. I'm not going to sugarcoat what I don't like, but I'm not going to be a bitch about it. I'm going to be constructive because I think that's the best way to go. So let's start with Creator Sim. I think a lot of the Creator Sim items are exactly the type of items that you'd expect to come from a pack called Eco Lifestyle. They're very hipstery, they're very modern, they're very on trend and everything like that. I feel like Gok one at the minute providing this voiceover. Hey, who do I think I am? There's some things where I've already seen them in game, but all in all, I really like the pieces that are provided. I also think that EA are greatly improving the mesh quality with hair and clothing, which honestly, no tea, kind of tea. It's about time. We've got content creators that can make impeccable pieces, so it's about time EA step the game up. Some items can only be used in the context of this pack, but I also think that that's fair because it is only some of them. It's not the majority of items. Honestly, I am pleasantly surprised by the items included for both male and female Sims. They're actually very trendy and I can see myself using them a lot. Well done to every Creator Sim item that was included in this expansion pack, apart from that denim skirt that is also a pair of jeans at the same time. If you've ever felt pointless in your life, I'm here to let you know you're never as pointless as these pair of jeans or skirt. Take that with you. And there are also 4 new traits, which I am very happy about. I think it's the right amount of traits to be included in a pack. These are freegan, they reject consumerism and prefer to reduce wasteful spending by any means. So basically, this is the trait that goes with living off the grid without a job. And thankfully, we also have a dumpster now, which we'll get into a little bit more later. So that goes well with this freegan trait. Then we have recycle, disciple, which honestly does exactly what it says on the tin. Goes well with the recycling object in game. Got green fiend, they're the happiest living on a green street and want to make every street they live on more green. Well, sometimes, Barbara, not the entire world thinks like you, and that's something that you're going to have to learn now. Then we have maker, and again, it's exactly what it says on the tin. They like to make things. This goes well with the whole fabrication, juice, fizz, and candle making skill. The butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. Yes. Then we have also got the maker aspiration and the eco innovative aspiration, which are basically just gameplay tutorials for the entire pack. Like every single aspiration is in The Sims 4, which is inherently a problem with The Sims 4, and I would like to see it changed sharpish, thank you. So before we jump in the actual gameplay, I'm going to talk about the world for a sec. I really like the style of this world, honestly. It's a decent enough town, it's a decent enough size, it's got a couple of styles thrown in as well, which I do kind of like, instead of it all just looking the same. There's the general working class neighbourhoods with average looking houses, and there's apartments in this pack as well. I'm sorry to city living. She's just not that original, babe. There's also the more modern style, which lends itself very well to this whole container style self-sufficient homes, and fits in very well with the rest of the world when it goes down the more eco lifestyle path. We also have industrial looking abominations, some traditional looking abominations. You really tried here, you really tried. I can see the attempt. An attempt was most definitely made. Now for the gameplay. Honestly, as I was writing like my points about this, I found it very, very hard to talk about each point individually because it all lends itself to the other and they all go together. And I do kind of like that they all tie in together because for me, it means that they're tying close together with each other whilst also being a standalone thing. Unlike island living, because everything in island living seems so disjointed from each other now that I'm looking at a pack like this, where everything ties in quite well, even though they're individually their own things. But I mean, congrats to island living for being an independent woman, do you know what I mean? So a lot of this pack focuses around this whole idea of a collaborative community. And with this comes neighbourhood voting boards, which are basically these big boards in your town and they'll allow you to vote on things which will affect the town around you. But this is good because it's not exclusive to just Evergreen Harbour, because although Evergreen Harbour just has these voting boards, you can also vote in Willow Creek, Oasis Springs. You'll vote through your mailbox. Sorry, I forgot the Sims 4's an American simulator for a second there. And there is a lot of cool stuff that you can do with this as well. It's not just exclusive to making your world an eco-friendly world. You can be as chaotic or as wholesome as you want to. Personally, for me, the first thing that I done was make people scrap with each other 24/7. Would you expect anything less of me? I don't think so, honey. That's how I'm coping right now. We're all dealing with isolation differently and I'm not willing to be judged for that. You can also vote for things like free love everywhere, so say goodbye to the constraints of monogamy and have your Sims live a life of freedom. That's my own definition, not coming from the Sims team. My favourite one though, I'm not gonna lie, is the one where you can make all of your Sims around all of the world wear bags on their heads, because baghead has a totally different connotation in the north of England and I love that for us. Urban Dictionary at love. But of course this expansion pack is also eco lifestyle, so a lot of the options pertain to that as well, like stop using so much electricity, your sister is going to jail. And these options can also influence the world around you, so the more eco focused your options are, the greener the neighbourhood will become. So you can watch with your own eyes as gentrification unfolds in the working class town that you know and love is slowly overtaken by the middle class and your rent is way too high and you suddenly can't afford to live in the place that was once your own. And you can also use influence points to convince people to vote for things other than a green environment though, so you know, if you're really against that kind of thing, which is what I like to hear, you can do that. And while I'm saying this, let's all just take a second to please remember that this is a video game, so please don't attack me for being against eco-friendly things, Henny. Literally, I'm not out here bulk buying plastic straws, you know what I mean? I just find that this chaotic gameplay more fun. And the build and buy mode objects also play into this whole change in scenery. You can have solar panels, the water catcher thing, the recycling station, which will make your world more green. If you're really extreme, you can use these to be totally self-sufficient and live off the grid as well, which is helped by the new way bills are sorted through power and water, which makes a lot of sense, but also makes them objects more useful. And you can also use a generator or have numerous fireplaces constantly burning if you want to make it more industrial. This whole changing of the world thing as well isn't just exclusive to this new world. You can make Oasis Springs industrial or Willow Creek industrial if you want to. Not like I'm going to judge you. Another collaborative part about the pack is the new community spaces within the world. So there's 3 in Evergreen Harbour and you can go there with your Sims and vote for what you want that place to become. And I'm not going to lie to you, the original shell, disgusting, love. I've never seen out as bad as that in my life, honestly. Like little Sims who would have a heart attack. She probably is right now. Has anyone checked on her? But your Sims can go here and go and vote for what they want the place to turn into. So you can vote for a marketplace, a community garden or a makerspace, and these are obviously very influenced by the new skills that come with this pack. And the default buildings, like I said, are very substandard, but the ones that they change into aren't actually half bad. I was pleasantly surprised. Don't worry as well, because I do have a lot of videos coming out soon where I start renovating the world and show you what an actual working class house looks like in this neighbourhood, because apparently they haven't seen one. So from this, I'm going to start talking about the jobs that come with this pack, because it kind of ties into this whole collaborative makerspace, marketplace, community garden, poker face, whatever you. So the first one is civil designer, and this is where you basically get involved with planning and designing solutions to all kinds of environmental problems and chat to your fellow Sims about how to make their world a better place to live. And this has 2 branches as well, green technician and civil planner, and this is the job that you want to go and get if you want that smoggy looking machine, because when it gets to that branch bit, that's when you can control the world, loves. The second one as well is a freelancer, which we've kind of seen before, but now there's 3 new avenues you can go with this one. So you can make candles, juice, furniture, all through the fabrication station, the candle maker machine and the juice fitting station. The furniture that you can make with the fabrication station, it is very nice. I really like the style of it, but it's all locked, so if you want to buy these in game and not have to make them through the fabrication station, you will have to use bb.show hidden objects to be able to access them. But I kind of like the fact that they're hidden, because then it gives me something to work towards, because if they were just in the build and buy mode anyway, I wouldn't want to see them. Like, what's the point in working, you know? Everything can be recycled too with the recycle station, and you will need these recycled bits as well to be able to make stuff in the fabrication machine and everything like that. So it's all very much ties in, love. Recycle, recycle, recycle. I've seen the memes where it's like, yeah, love recycling things, huh? How about the animations, which I'll talk about more later. So you could even potentially go into the new dumpster, and you may potentially even pull out the tables and chairs that were featured in the Sims 1 Bob and Betty newbie house. That's right, lovies. And you can recycle them if you want to. Not that I ever would, but each their own. And the items that you make as well, you can also sell at the marketplace, community place. Like, hey girl, love your profile, love what you're doing. Do you want to be part of my business? I promise it's not a pyramid scheme. And there is also 3 new NPCs that are included as well, and these really help drive forward the gameplay. So we've got the Eco Master, the Entrepreneur, and the Master Maker, which may just turn up unannounced at your Sims homes. So that's my basic overview of the pack. We're going to get into the review in a minute, but I'm going to be doing more detailed things with the build and buy mode and also with gameplay in future videos. I really want to turn every single world into a smog world, but also use an extreme violence, so watch out for that one, lovies. Now I'm going to go into my review, and I just also want to reiterate, because there's a lot of misconception in the community at the minute that Game Changers are paid for these reviews, and this review is not paid in any way, shape or form, and I'm not influenced in any way, shape or form to give any type of opinion. I'm not going to get my press release revoked if I say this expansion pack is a steaming pile of shite. On the other hand of things, any criticism that I do say is meant to be constructive criticism. I'm not just out here being a bitch for the sake of being a bitch, you know what I mean? I've got other hobbies. So the positives. Everything in this pack does tie in together very well, and I don't really feel like there are many loose ends like I've seen with other packs. It's all very consistent in that aspect, so I think the Sims team have done a really good job in that. I also don't feel like I've even covered every single thing so far. There's a lot of things that I'm also going to get to experience when I go into gameplay. The time that I had with this pack was nowhere near enough time to fully go at every single end of this pack. There's so many things I'd still like to explore, and you can use each aspect independently, which means that in terms of longevity, that's a very, very good thing, because you might not want to follow the eco-friendly storyline after you've fully played that storyline. Do you know what I mean? But then there's still things that you can do, like the juice, the candles, the whole freelancer career. You can still use this pack to go make your entire world bar each other, make your entire world juiced all the time. You can use the things to live off the grid easier. So even if you completely ignore this whole changing of the world storyline, this pack does still come in very useful. Or you can literally just have a sim whose kink is recycling, and he just turns recycled stuff into objects. Love that for him. I can also see some lore within the world as well, which, you know me, I'm a whore for lore loves, and I can see the fact that the families are tending to have backstories now, which is something I love to see. It is like what I built this channel upon. I am a whore for lore, and I will always be a whore for lore. I also really like the fact that we're given something different than the just usual picturesque world of The Sims 4, which I did see a lot of people complain about initially when this pack came out. I saw a lot of people say that they don't want to play in trash or they don't want to play in filth, where for me, I'm like, give me that kind of world, because I don't like to see something that's constantly perfect all the time. It's not a realistic experience for me, and I love to see that distinction in the types of world that we live in. I don't want to be a boring Eliza Pancakes constantly living in Willow Creek. That's just not me, loves. The whole neighborhood voting aspect is something that I really enjoyed about this pack. It made my world feel alive outside of my lot, which I think is very crucial in a closed world game. Not that I'd want any other Sims games to be closed world, like come on, Sims 5, like at least semi-open neighborhoods. There is also a new sense of sporadicness in the game as well, which I was neither expecting nor prepared for. Some of the NPCs would just knock on my door and be like, hey, can I use your recycling machine? And at first I was like, get out my house. And then I was like, you know what? It's nice to have a bit of company. Come on in. But also I got a phone call saying, do you want some money? And obviously $1 do be making me holler, love. So I said yes. And then she said, all right, get married in 7 days and you can have your money. Do you think this marriage is going to pay my mortgage? I've got money. In that respect, I really do feel like the Sims team is listening, because we've got such a lack of wants and fears, and like whims are automatically disabled in game now. There's nothing that really drives forward gameplay, so something like that's sporadically happening is really good, because at the minute there's nothing to be driving gameplay. So I do like to see it. So now we're going to be talking about the negatives, love. So I do feel like the smog versus eco theme kind of didn't necessarily fall flat. Didn't fall fully flat. It slipped. It tripped. Didn't fall flat in its ass though. I think it definitely could have been taken further, and the entire pack relies heavily on this eco-utopian storyline. For example, the items. There's so many things that promote this eco-green lifestyle, and then there's not that many things that promote the other one, which, yeah, like maybe you shouldn't be promoting an industrial world, but like go hard or go home. I want to see the same amount in both, you know what I mean? And the actual objects that I needed for the eco-living storyline are just way too big. Honestly, I had quite a big house to play with this game, objectively, because I had 2 Sims living in it. One was my Sim self and one was my future husband, who does not exist. And I had to put all of the objects right at the back of the lot because there just wasn't enough room. And this is a constant theme that I'm seeing in The Sims 4, and it's like, Henny, just because it's bigger doesn't mean it's better. Don't take that the wrong way, please. I'm a good Catholic girl at the heart of it. And although this pack could go really well with things like tiny living and with the off-the-grid lot trait, if you want to kind of do this recycling fabrication storyline, you might struggle on a tiny lot. I would like to see smaller objects. I also found a lot of difference in using these objects as well. So with the juice station, you have to put the juice in and then you leave and then you go and collect it at a later time once it's done. But with candle making, you stand there, you make the candle, and then your sim just stands and waits for the candle to be done. I can understand more with the fabricate machine because your sim's got to be there like doing stuff. But there's just a lot of difference and it kind of makes no sense. They don't feel as streamlined. The skill level also didn't seem to impact the objects that much either. A higher skill just seemed to unlock more objects to actually make, where I would have expected a higher skill level to mean there's more chance of a fabrication of something becoming successful. I was constantly having failed items, no matter the level of difficulty of the item or the level of skill my sim had. The fabricate machine failed all the time, and although the animation's cute, it's cute the first 5 times. The juice thing also needs fine-tuning as well, because when I was chatting with the client, which is an essential part of the freelancer career, my sim would just be at the computer and then she'd be like, oh, I'm thirsty, and get some juice out and then plop it down, so which means I'd have to start the interaction all the way over again to chat with the client, and that takes quite a long time. That boiled my piss, to say the least. A criticism that I have of the off-the-gridding lifestyle, much as that kind of gameplay is massively improved with this pack. My playstyle is playing on speed 3, 24/7, all day, every day, and the constant popping up of notifications to say about the electricity and how much like water you've stored and everything was very invasive and very annoying, loves. But the majority of them issues are all issues that can be addressed in the next update and can be fine-tuned a little bit, so I'm not that mad about them. I would have just not liked to have seen them this early before release. I would have liked them things to have already been sorted. I also saw a lot of people on Twitter complain about the reason of animations for some of the gameplay, which honestly I'm not that mad about. I don't mind if something from the detective career where he's writing on a phone is the same kind of animation as writing on the phone for the civil designer career. Like that, there's worse things in life. What I am mad about, the constant reusing of objects. That is something that I'm getting bored of now, because we got 2 new kids items with this one. We got a dollhouse and we got the where your kids can paint, and I'm sick of the sight of them, honestly. Also the same thing where you can like breed the little animal things. We've kind of already got that with bees. I would have liked to have seen something different maybe, but especially for kids, because at the minute, as much as I really enjoyed this pack, I also can't help but feel like my needs, not that I'm in a relationship with the Sims or anything like that, like it sounds kind of extreme, but like as a consumer I feel like my needs aren't necessarily being met by the expansions that are coming out lately, because my gameplay style is mainly family gameplay and it's just not getting delivered. I mean, parenthood, it's in the name, is it not? It's not childhood, it's not toddlerhood, it's not even teenhood. It's parenthood. I'm also not reviewing firefighters or ladders as part of this pack because they come as a free update to the game. I'm not letting eco lifestyle claim her, I'm sorry. So my final thoughts, honestly this pack is it's a good pack. The stuff that comes with it is good, the gameplay is good. I don't feel like I've even played with all of it yet. I definitely don't feel like I had enough time, and I want to play with more of the pack. It was fun, it was interesting. Would have been more up my alley if the whole smug world would have been explored more. This utopian way of living is not the reality that I want to see. I'm not necessarily playing The Sims for perfection, you know. If this kind of gameplay suits your playstyle, you'll definitely have fun with it. Despite the initial criticism, I think it is a good pack all in all. It's just not 100% my type of gameplay. And that's on Sims 3 Generations, love. After today, I've got the next 4 days of videos all about eco living. I've got some build reviews and also a scathing review of EA's build. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Oh my god, I was going to say I love you. Bye. But I do love you. Bye guys.